let's talk a little bit about propaganda, shall we? Now, what is propaganda? Well, first of all, it's my personal favourite subject due to its monstrous influential power over people and due to the fact that societies today pretty much depend upon it. Now, propaganda typically today is associated with something bad, is it not? When we hear the word propaganda, we immediately think brainwashing or something similar. And in many cases, such an association is legitimately warranted, but propaganda is not good or bad in itself. It can be used to serve a good or bad aim. Predominantly today it is used for bad, but it is essential, indispensable in fact, in any system of government, in any political party, in any business even. If you cannot understand or incorporate some basic propagandist principles into your political party or business, you'll never achieve any sort of success. Now, propaganda, the word, is an extension of the word propagate. Now, propagate means to spread about. When you're propagating something, you're spreading it about. If you share a video on Facebook, you're propagating that video. Now, incorporated into politics, propaganda is the spreading about of an idea. Now, the best way to make sure an idea spreads far and wide and actually really convinces people, because remember, as a propagandist, you're not looking at reasoning with people so much as you want to convince people, absolutely. And the best way to do this, unfortunately, is in a complete absence, or with a complete absence of reason, you transform your idea into dogma. Now, dogma is a theory of life, theoretical idea, which has not been proven to benefit any type of humanity in even the smallest ways, especially not over a long period of time. Even a theory which can in fact be harmful, it is laid down as fact by an authority that cannot be questioned. Relating to our present time, such a dogma is attached to the theory of equality, you see. Now, the way dogma works is pretty much just an authority telling you that you have to believe something. For example, imagine I'm the government and this texter, I'm telling you this texter is black, although it is clearly white with purple ink, as you can see. Nonetheless, I am asserting to you that it is black, and you had best believe it lest you be cast out of my kingdom, you see. And people will start believing it, so long as I incorporate something else, which is a principle of dogma, which is name-calling. It might sound trivial, but it is very, very powerful. Think about it. Every major religion in the world has a dogma as its basis, which incorporates name-calling. People who are not a member of the religion or who work actively against the religious dogma, do not accept the religious dogma, or were once, in times before our times, heretics, goyams or infidels, and other types of slanderous labels, renegade and so forth. Today, things are no different. They've just taken on a new form. Instead of Christian or Catholic type dogmatic ideals, instead of Judaism, instead of Islam, although we know we still have Islam, what is dominating Western culture today as the new religion, as the new dogma, is egalitarianism, which incorporates basic name-calling just like any religion does. Racist, sexist, and various types of phobe. It is a very simple to understand, very effective means for forcing a people to believe something, forcing them to accept something in their hearts as absolutely true, and actually making them believe in it to the extent that they will die for it. Okay? Just like they will die for any faith, there are many people out there who are more than willing to take to the streets in fanatical, pitchfork-wielding mobs, as I've said before, ready to terrorise and tear apart anyone who questions or tries to even reason with them in regards to their egalitarian preconceptions. And this is basically the way propaganda is used today in a general sense, in our current social political system. Try to tell me I'm wrong. This is exactly how it is. A political idea or theory, in fact, which not only does nothing for the future of our people, but actively works against the future of our people, being disseminated in a dogmatic fashion as a dogma, egalitarianism, the equality of all people, incorporating name-calling to frighten, browbeat and scare people into submission. That is exactly what we're currently experiencing. And it's happened over and over again throughout history. It's just happened in different ways. And equality is no different to a religion. People who say, I'm an egalitarian and an atheist. No, you're not an atheist. You've just replaced the faith of Christianity or Catholicism or something else with the new international faith. It's just not yet understood as a religion. But I guarantee you, in times yet to come, in the future, unless all of our high culture is eradicated, the equality concept will be remembered as a faith because it is structured in the exact same way. Now, propaganda is based upon two fundamental principles. It can be unlimited as to form. It can take on the form of an iPhone application, a billboard, a television series, which is propaganda mingled with entertainment, which is quite dangerous propaganda, very much effective. It can be online, anywhere, in books, literature. Propaganda, the form of it is unlimited. Unlimited as the form. However, its function must always remain the same. Two primary functions: simplicity and repetition. Simplicity and repetition. It must be simple to understand and it must be repeated over and over again. The tree I just showed you before. If you are starting up some Facebook page, starting up some group trying to kill the racist or sweep the racist off the streets, yet you believe you are revolutionaries, no. You are actually serving the current state, form and dogma. And realistically, you are neither capable nor willing to bring about any sort of revolution. A revolution today must be nationalistic, because that's the only thing which is actually being suppressed and held down by the current state dogma. Must be nationalistic, otherwise it's not a revolution, it's just an aid for the present state authority, for the present state of affairs. You're either aiding it or you're fighting against it. And if you're a so-called anti-racist running around spitting these slander words at people, you're just aiding the current system, which is going to lead to the collapse of all higher culture. Now, simplicity and repetition, two fundamental basics of propaganda. Now, the broader your audience, the larger the amount of people you wish to reach, the more simple your message needs to be. Let's say in this sphere here, I would like to reach an audience of 5 million people at a massive public demonstration. What a dream, huh? Whereas down here there's only 100 people, which I've invited to a political conference. Now, if I want to get my message across to 5 million people, first of all I have to forget egalitarianism, because it's rubbish. And I need to understand that the majority of people are quite easily moved by their feelings. More likely, I'm just getting a phone call, more likely to go with what is being demonstrated to them in a method of strength, more likely to move along with simplicity, or what is being presented to them with simplicity and repetition. Okay? If I have a grouping together of 5 million people, it's actually easier to manage such people. because there's not 5 million professors in here, there's not 5 million diplomats and people of an accomplished intellectual stature. There's just regular people who work regular jobs and who do not necessarily analyse the hell out of everything. Whereas if I hold a political conference and 100 people turn up, chances are the majority of them will be diplomats and professors and people of some sort of higher intellectual accomplished state. And therefore I need to make my message slightly more elaborate in order to appeal to a more intellectual minority. And so the point I'm making here is the larger your audience or the more people you wish to reach, the simpler your message needs to be. However, the repetition remains the same. Repetition must always be maintained because people, it doesn't matter whether they're smart or not, forget things quickly, very quickly. I guarantee you this Parramatta shooting that just happened last Friday, where Curtis Cheng, a police employee at the New South Wales Police Headquarters in Parramatta, was shot dead by an Islamic youth who just walked directly from the mosque to the police headquarters and killed him. I guarantee you, no one will remember this in a couple of weeks. Except, of course, Cheng's family members. Because the media won't keep repeating it. The media will keep talking about diversity. Not directly, but subtly. In the form of entertainment. It will show different kinds of people getting along, smiling. Yeah, we're all good. Multiculturalism. Blah, blah, blah. It's the same message over and over again. But these are the basics of propaganda. And as a final statement, I will put to you, I know that everybody is inclined to believe in egalitarianism, as I once was myself. I used to hate racists as well. I used to work in Fitzroy, which is like the lesbian capital of Australia, and I used to walk around the streets and I used to see Marxist posters. And I used to think to myself, this looks interesting, ideas to challenge the system. What's this? I used to actually take pictures of these posters. I used to buy crazy communist revolutionary books from the local bookstores, and I was quickly becoming one of the so-called left-wingers of our modern times. But certain literature luckily saved me, and I woke up to the basic realities of the world. And I began to train and exercise, and I became a healthy member of my community. Now, you are not born egalitarian. Quite the opposite, in fact. You are born with a natural instinct for preservation, which, as an extension, becomes an instinct for the preservation of the species, a specific subspecies, in fact. Every natural animal in the green kingdom of nature has this instinct. It must be squashed out of you by egalitarian propaganda, by the state, in order to create a mass of conformity, a hodge of cultureless, nationless, easy to manipulate and mould idiots. Egalitarianism is your enemy. Not me. Not a regular working carpenter from the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne who is trying to convey a new idea of life to you. I'm not your greatest threat. Your greatest threat is the sort of people that have been whispering in your ear since your very first day as a member of our communities. Be wary. I'll speak to you again soon.